What's up to all my Cinema 4D users out there? Hi, Sachin Mishram here. In this Cinema 4D tutorial, I will show you how to create looping, satisfying 3D animations in Cinema 4D. It's really for beginners and it's really easy loop animation tutorial. We will be using cube, the wave effector, fall-offs and a few deformers. I add materials and lightning with physical render at the end, while everything else can be applied to a standard Cinema 4D workflow. We are now going to build this wave and we will add the two eyes and guide the eyes along this wave. Now, before we get started today, I wanted to remind you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share. So let's hop over to Cinema 4D. Alright, so straight away, let's go in here, set this to 1080 by 1080 and we close this one and we start with the wave. So we go up here and we choose formula and we are setting this nice sine wave and we will now tweak a bit the size of it. So we'll give it 200 of width and the height we change to 30. Alright, and we can start here on 0. We repeat it 4 times. Okay, so we have 2 full waves and the samples we set to 100, so it's a bit smoother. Good. So we duplicate this wave and we keep this one for later. We hit the C button so it gets editable and we can choose our points. So let me go to the front view so you see it better what's happening. So now we choose this first point and by pushing Ctrl we can now drag down and duplicate this point. So let's go to 100, we let it go and we push again the Ctrl button and we can add an additional one all the way to the end, which is at 800, and after we can close the spline and we have a nice closed spline. Good. So the next step is we create a extrude and we drag our formula into the extrude and that makes us this nice wavy wall. And we can change by selecting the extrude. We can change this to 50 centimeters of depth and it's looking good. So now we create a cube and this cube we move exactly over 100 centimeters. Let me go back to objects mode. So 100 centimeters, okay. That it aligns exactly with our wavy line. Let me change this to display line mode. And now we can create a volume builder. We create a volume measure and put this builder into the measure. Put the cube into the builder and also place our wavy wall into the volume builder. And now we can choose here intersect and all we stay with this is the intersection of these two elements. We can go to the volume builder and decrease the voxel size, let's say 3 centimeters for now, that we don't have too many polygons. And now we have this nice intersection. So if we go now into extrude, we select the wavy wall, let's call it wavy wall. So we choose the wavy wall, go on coordinate, go back to 0, set the keyframe and we go to 60 and we move this minus 400 centimeters, that we get exactly a cycle minus 400 and we set the key. And we can change this to 60. That's all we need. And so now by having this, we see that we get this movie line. You get the feeling of the wavy wall. Okay, good. So next thing, we want to add some eyes that roll on top of the wave. So let's go here. We go to sphere object. We give radius 16 centimeters and we pack this into a null straight away. Okay, Alt G, and we can call it eyeball. The only bit what we can add now is we can go in here and go to this sphere. We have to give this sphere 32 segments so it gets a bit smoother. And what we want to do is also we want to turn it 90 degrees. So the face to the front. So now we can take the formula from before and go away again to the front view. So you will see a bit better. And we select a formula and we hit C again. So it gets again editable. And we go up here on spline, clone and create outline. And now we create new object and we say 16 because that's the offset of our radius of this sphere of the eyeball. And we hit apply and we get a nice offset of this formula. Okay, so we can get rid of this one. We don't need it anymore. And now we want to move this line also across in the scene that our wavy wall went. So we go in here, coordinate X on 0 and we go to 60 and we want to move it also minus 400 and we come to the same cycle and we make a keyframe. And now we have this offset wavy line moving with our wavy wall. Great. The next step, we go to eyeball and we add an animation tag. Align to spline, select the tag and now drag the formula into the spline path. And we see that the eye reaches to the end. By selecting the tag, we move our eye where we want to have it. So let's go to 90 and on 0 and we set the key. And then we go all the way to 60 and we move it to 40. So it is the same position and we click and make a keyframe on 40%. And now we see that it's moving along with our wavy line and stays in place. Okay, great. So this eye has also to roll and we know that 16 centimeters of radius take 100 centimeters to make one full spin. So this is about 400 more or less. So we need about 4 spins. So we go to eyeball, frame 0, set a keyframe, go to 60 and put here 360 by 4 and we make a keyframe and now we see that it's nicely rolling with the wave. Okay, great. So let's go to the perspective mode or we see it in the full beauty and we see now how this is rolling along our nice spline. Good. We see we have here ease in and ease out. We don't want that. So we go on window, F curves and we select all and make it linear. And that's all. So now we have nice movement that just continues and it's a nice. Great. Let's put to 59 so it is even smoother. And this is looking already very good. So we want now to add a second eye. First of all, let's take our formula and move it back to the center. So 25 centimeters, so it is exactly on the center of our wavy wall and now we just duplicate our eye. Okay. And we open again to F curves and I put it here. And if we choose our new eyeball and we go to align to spline, we have here our keyframes and we offset them. We see we can move where we want to have it. So it looks pretty good. Okay, great, perfect. This looks already very good. Okay, now we have our eyes rolling, but we do not see the movement so much because it's facing exactly forward. So a nice trick to go to this sphere and turn this, for example, a tiny bit like 10 degrees inwards, and this one we put 100 degrees downwards. And if we go now back, we see that they are wobbling nicely and we get more of the feeling that they are rolling, and it just looks for good. So that's pretty good. Now we are going to tweak the design of our wavy character, and after we will prepare it for render. Alright, so let's make another cube, and the cube is 100 centimeters high and 100 centimeters deep, and we want to bring it down 100 centimeters, that is exactly aligned, and we want also to bring it back 25, so it is exactly under, and we move it as well 100 in the X direction, so it is exactly under our lips. Good. I would like to add some ears to this guy here. So we go on cylinder, we give a radius of 30 and height maybe 15, and to segments we increase to 32 and the orientation to +Z, and we can move it also back 25 centimeters, and we only need the half of it. So we go on slice and we put on the slice, so this goes up to 270, and this we only need 90. That's all we need. And then we just duplicate the cylinder, move it to the other side, meaning 200 centimeters, and on the other side we just bring this to -90. Okay, good. Let's this is an extreme point here. Let's bring now our cylinders down so they align nicely here, and this is exactly already very good. That we have like 260, and now we just pack all of these into volume builder and to measure, and we grab all of these and we put them into here. We put this down to 1 and we add some smoother, and let's choose to mean and add maybe 3 durations, and this is looking nice. Okay, good. And also the top one we can put it now down to maybe a 1, and this is looking already very good. Okay, so let's add a flow just to go to -150, and that's pretty much all we need to go into a render it out. So we go up here on the settings, we choose here physical, we go into physical and we change for now the sampler to progress, and the other thing we have to do is choose effects and add the global illumination, and here we go up here and choose to quasi Monte Carlo, and here another quasi Monte Carlo, and we are ready to go. Good. So this is now set. The other thing we straight away add is the HDRI maps. So we have an environment that creates our line. So we go here, create a new material, standard material, double click, and we are in our settings. We ignore this color for now and the reflection as well. We go here and choose luminance, and we add now a picture or HDRI map to this luminance. So we go up here, go on content browser, and we search here for HDR. And if you download Cinema with the content libraries, you get a lot of HDR maps and different materials. And in there is this large corridor which I quite like because it gives a nice diffuse light. And also you have a source here, and you have general bouncing lights, and it works fairly well. So we just drag now this large corridor onto the texture, and you have it on your material. Good. So we go to objects. The other things we need now is our sky. So we go up here and choose sky, and now our room material to the sky, and we have it here in the background. You see? But now we have basically our light source. So if we click now render, we already have fairly nice general light. So the source is coming from the back, and we have nice reflections here. One thing you can do, you can take sky and rotate it around and play around and see what outcome you get. So now for example, you get more of frontal light and the shadows are in the back. Did I put it back so it was, because I quite like the light coming from the back. Alright, good. Let's also add a camera. So we have a new camera. Make it active here. Go to the settings and focal length f/80. It looks nicer to have a bit less perspective. And the other thing we do is we create a null and we call it focus. Okay, so this will be the focus of our camera. So we choose no camera, and let's go on a top view, and you see the camera goes over our character, but we want to focus to be here. So we choose camera and we drag our focus into this focus object slot, and you see it jumps to our focus. And now we can decide exactly where we want it, have basically the focus and sharpest point for our camera. I want to have it here on the eye. Good. So once this is done, we are set for the view. Let's straight away create a new material, standard material. I can double click again, and we don't need to reflect now. This is for our floor, so we just go on color and we choose a nice pinkish color, something you like or however you prefer. I like this, and we drag it onto our floor, and let's hit render, and let's see what comes out. And we have our pink color and our character on top. Let's go into our body and we choose this volume builder of our body. Let's create the material for our body. We create again on new material, standard material, double click it and color. We choose now a nice dark blue. Okay, something like this. It looks good. And we go on reflection and let's crank up the reflection. So we choose Buckman and reflection strength. We can bring this up. We can bring down the roughness of bit. So now it's very reflective. And let's see what's happening, and you see it's very reflective. It looks like but we want it to have more of a plasticky shiny look. So you are on reflection. Let's go to the for now, and let's go here and choose this one, the dielectric, and you see it's gets already better. We can put the roughness of it higher, and let's see how this looks now. And it looks already pretty nice. So one other thing we want to do, we want to give this surface a little texture, a little bumpy material texture. So to do that, we go into bump to create the bump map, and we can choose for texture our noise. Okay, so now if you click render, you see that you get a very big nice bump map on your materials. So we have to make this nice bump a bit smaller. So by choosing our tag, we go to coordinates and we can put this down to 10 centimeter. So we get smaller bumps for all material on our character body. Let's see how that looks. And you see now we get nice little bumps and it starts looking more realistic and like a plastic surface. Good. We can put the strength down and do something like 2, and we can see how that looks. And this looks pretty nice. I am fairly happy with it. It starts looking quite realistic and nice. Okay, good. So this is a good base for us to work with. And the next thing we do, we copy this and we choose a red color to this for our mouth. Okay, nice red pinkish color, a reflection. Now let's go a bit shinier again. Okay, specular strength, let's crank this all up. We just drag this one onto your mouth and we can change this tag again to cubic. Let's see how it looks. And it looks very nice. Good. So now let's look into the eyes. The first thing we have to do is we have to choose spheres and we have to hit the C button so it gets editable. So we do it for both spheres. Just hit C. Good. So let's duplicate this red material and we go here on the color, more of a gray white, and we do the same thing and choose a dark blue black. This will be the black part of our eye. And now we can just grab the white and drag into our spheres. Alright, so we have it here. We can choose again cubic and also coordinates. We can put down to 10 centimeters on the other one. That's on this one. So we get a nice texture again. And the next thing we want to do is to fill the black of our eye. To do that, we go here on the polygon selection. So now we have the option to choose our single polygons. So let me zoom in a bit here. Okay, now we go on this live selection and we can now, by keeping it pushed, can choose the selection we want by hitting shift. You can add more of the polygons, but this is already good. So now we just drag the black material onto this selection and we do the same for the other. Let's select this sphere, select the polygons and drag the black on top. Here we go. And this is basically all the stuff we kind of need for now. So let's see how it looks. I hit render and we get a nice little character. So this looks already pretty good. One thing we can add now is a little depth of field. So we go up here and we choose on the physical the depth of field tag and we make it active. And the other thing we do, we go on camera and we go on physical and we just put this on the f-stop on 1, so it's a bit more extreme, maybe even more 0.8, make it more extreme to see it better. And if we click render now, you see we get little bit of out of focus on this edge, and it just adds this little depth and it makes it look good. So this looks already pretty good. We can maybe also add another light, so you know also how that works. That's fairly simple. We go up here and we create our area light and we get this kind of area soft boxes light and we bring it back here. Maybe didn't hit there around, and we can decide we can make it even a little bigger. Okay, and let's see now. Watch what happens if we hit render, and you see we have light source coming here. So this is way too much, so let's go to the final view. So we go on light and we bring down the intensity to something like 20, and let's see, and this looks pretty good. So we get a bit of light here. It's not totally dark as before. Maybe let's crank it up to 30. And the other thing is, what you can do is, like in a studio, make like a top light, like a big softbox on top. So you go another area light and pretend it exactly 90 degrees, and we bring it up and we make it big. So it's like a big softbox front top. So let's put the intensity down to 10. So it's just like a soft filler from top. And you see, you get this little reflections here also from this light, and this looking really nice. Okay, so once you are happy with your render, choose exactly the framing and make sure you are happy with everything. Go up here and we go on physical and we change the progressive now to adaptive, and we can now hit the render button. And now this is basically the final look of our render. And you make this last test render just to make sure that you are happy with the look and everything. And after you send out the whole sequence to render in this look, so this looks very nice. I'm very happy with, you see here, nice materials happening, nice shiny last reflections. It's all looking pretty good. Also, we don't have too much green in the shadow, so it looks pretty nice. Good. You can of course also increases the sample, so you can put the samples up to 4, 8, 16, how much you want the quality to improve of your render. But this looks already pretty good. I would not go too high, and once you did that, you go on output. You choose all frames, okay, 0 to 59, as we don't need the frame 60 because it's just a repetition of the first. And once that is done, you can go up here. So you go save and you choose where you want to save it. Choose TIFF or PNG, whatever you prefer, and you click this button and just say where you want to render it. and that's it. So if that is done, you can close it, and then you add it to the render queue. Yes, you save this once again. Make sure here the output file is correct. Yes, that looks great. And you just hit render and off you go. So it will take a while up depending again on your computer. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to have you over in the next tutorial. And here again, feel free to change the colors and camera and even the materials and shape. Just play around with it, make it your own. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see what you come up with. So render it out and export it ready for social media. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm looking forward to see you in the next.